The number one regret of the dying is I wish I would have had the courage to live true to myself. So how do we have the courage to be fully ourselves? Well, that's what we're about to get into. So hit the like button and let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to part 5 in this 5-part series on how to cultivate happiness. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Farzana. I'm a life coach and a transformation teacher, and I help people just like you navigate through the process of change and personal development. If you missed any of the previous episodes to this series, no worries. I'm going to put a link to that down below in the description and you can check it out and binge watch the whole series later. No matter what stage of life you're in, your full-on happiness comes from you being your true self. And only you know what your unique superpower is. But whatever it is, the world needs it. Else you wouldn't exist, right? Nobody really wants to die feeling like they never fully expressed themselves or allowed themselves to be happy. And this is exactly the number one regret in Bronnie Ware's book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. So why is it that so many of us find it difficult or choose not to live the truest version of ourselves? Because it's scary, right? It takes courage to be the truest version of ourselves. It takes courage to be as awesome as we know we are. Being your unique, wild, and wonderful self requires self-confidence and courage to break out of the cookie-cutter conformity. It requires the courage to be able to break out of other people's expectations of you. Being yourself means subjecting yourself to other people's opinions and judgments and perhaps even humiliation, right? And so it feels easier to conform, to fit in, to lay low, just blend in. It feels easier to dim your shine just to make other people feel more comfortable. But we all know that stifling or suppressing yourself is a recipe for frustration, disappointment, and even depression. So don't do this. Live your life to your fullest potential. Live your life expressing the most love, joy, and creativity you possibly can, so you don't end up at your deathbed regretting that you did not live your life true to yourself. Hey, if you're getting value from this video, from the tips and techniques and practices being shared, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and like the video, because what that does is it tells YouTube to push this video and this channel to a larger audience so that even more people can benefit from the tips and techniques and the wisdom being shared. Most of us are familiar with the speech that Steve Jobs gave at a graduation ceremony at Stanford University. It went like this: "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." And your greatest accomplishment in life, according to Ralph Waldo Emerson, is to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else. Before we move any further, let's be clear on one thing. Being true to yourself and doing your own thing does not give you permission to be rude or inconsiderate or disrespectful of other people who are also allowed to be fully themselves and do their own thing. All right, so with all of that in mind, let's dive right into today's 5 tips on how to live the life of your true self versus your fearful self. Tip number 1, discover or rediscover who you are at this very moment. Take time to sit down and do some journaling and to really reflect on who you are at this moment and what you want. Take time to explore your thoughts and feelings. Take time to figure out what makes you happy and what brings you joy. Take time to explore and express your creativity. Dance, do yoga, get out into nature, paint, write poetry, write songs. It doesn't matter if you're any good at any of this stuff. The point is to just explore and to just have fun and get to know yourself. Your creativity is your creativity. There is no wrong or right way to sing your song. Just allow yourself to reconnect with your inner self. Reconnect with your inner child. Scan your life and try to remember all of the things that make you feel alive, that make you feel happy, the things that make you feel joyful. What did you used to enjoy doing at different periods in your life? Be sure to schedule these self-discovery sessions because, as we know, if you don't schedule it, you'll never get around to it, right? And knowing yourself is so important. If you want to live a life that is true to your true self, you need to know who your true self is, right? Knowing yourself, loving yourself, and accepting yourself is so important in order to live a life true to yourself. Set aside at least 10 minutes for these self-discovery sessions. And then as you get into it, allow this time to expand. I mean, this is time well spent. Tip number 2, stop being a people pleaser and please yourself first. If you are constantly needing the approval of others, then you, my friend, are a people pleaser and you need to stop. In order for you to move past the people-pleasing tendency, you have to come to realize that you are already good enough just as you are. When you love and respect yourself, you will no longer need the approval of others or pretend to be someone else in order to be liked. If you want to know more about how to overcome the people-pleasing habit, I'll leave a link for that down below. When you do things that are out of alignment with your true self and your values, well, then you're going to lose your integrity, right? You're going to lose self-respect and you're going to lose self-confidence and self-trust. And needless to say, all of that is not going to make you feel very happy about yourself, and you're not going to be living your best life. Tip number 3, trust your intuition and your instincts. We all have that inner voice that is trying to guide us to live our most truest and best life. We have to be able to turn down the noise to be able to hear this voice and to follow the guidance. No one else really knows you like you know you, and nobody else really knows what is best for you. That is up to you. That is your responsibility. Sure, it's wise and it's smart to get advice from other people, right? From family and friends who you trust. But in the end, your life, your decision, and your choices are all up to you. You are the boss of your life. Your life and your happiness is your responsibility. How many times as a people pleaser have you just gone along with other people's decisions and choices and then been later like, I should have listened to my own voice. I knew I should have done that other thing. That helps you realize, trust your own voice. Trust your own instincts. The more you practice following that inner voice, your intuition, the more you learn to trust it and follow it. Tip number 4, believe in yourself. Stop worrying about what other people think and stop comparing yourself. Don't let your insecurities or self-doubt prevent you from living your true self and your best life. When you choose your path and your destiny, don't let anybody else's opinions, judgments, or criticisms distract you from doing what you know is best for you. And stop comparing yourself to other people, because trust me, that will stop you right in your tracks. Instead, just focus on your own game. Focus on just improving your own game. Keep your eye on your prize. Keep your eye on the prize, stay in your own lane, and play your own game. Be proud of who you are and who you are becoming. Confidence comes from really knowing yourself, loving yourself, doing your own thing, trusting yourself, and not quitting on yourself. And I think that we can all agree that a more confident you is a happier you and a more successful you. If you find yourself often falling into the comparing game, I have a whole video on that and have the link for it down below. That brings us right into tip number 5, which is all about standing up for yourself and learning to say no. If you are committed to living a life true to yourself, you have to learn how to become assertive and how to set boundaries and to say no. Saying yes when you really want to say no is the most self-defeating and disempowering thing that you can do for your own happiness, right? So instead, empower yourself and say no to the things you don't want to do. And say no in a way that is assertive, empowering, and respectful. The more that you practice being assertive and saying no, the easier that it becomes. The more that you learn to stand up for yourself, the more you will respect yourself. And the more that you respect yourself, the more confidence you will have in yourself. When you are true to yourself, you allow your unique and special gifts to shine through you. So have the courage to live your best and happiest life by being true to who you really are. Each one of you, my friends, is more awesome than you even realize at this moment. So turn your magic on and allow yourself to live your happy at full capacity. My name is Farzana. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you as always, and I'll see you next Wednesday.